So welcome to video number 11 of the Walking Through Grief series I'm doing. So picture this. I walk into a public pool area at the place where I work. I walk in one day, and a week before I had put all the lounge chairs and all the furniture, all the mats into a nice neat pile, had swept, mopped, made the place look spick and span. I walk in one day and power washing's going on. There's debris everywhere. There's little scaly, thin potato chip like shellac stuff all over, and it's all in the air. And there's just a heavy coat of dust on everything. And all the furniture I had put in a pile was in another pile, like against a back wall, all just ramshackle. And then I go into a little fitness center that I clean, and the floor is torn up. The rubber mats are all torn up. All the treadmills and machines are unplugged and put in a corner. And again, just a big mess. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I need to let you know there was a real sense of disorientation, a sense of my routines and my patterns and my work not being what they were. And I was really surprised kind of at my reaction. This all happened because of the COVID-19, the economic shutdown part. About 80% of our staff where I work was laid off. We had no guests at this hotel to speak of for quite a while, just a few essential workers. And it just was a twilight zone and a very heavy environment to come into after you're used to your patterns and your comfortable routines. And it occurred to me that I felt a sense of loss. There's a sense of grief at losing my regular work. Also, hours were cut back quite a bit. And again, most of the staff were gone, so a lot of the coworkers who I got used to working with and honestly kind of took for granted were now gone, at least for a couple months. I just want to give everybody out there an encouragement, permission during this current economic shutdown. Parts of the USA are still really in the middle of that. It's okay to admit that there's an emptiness, an anger and irritation, to feel upset and even feel like there's been a loss when it comes to something more abstract like your job or the errands that you run in your car. Places you go are no longer available to go to. So a few things I did to cope with it and make it a better transition were well, number one, and by the way, I got on Facebook and I asked my friend community of like 800 people I barely know, but a few I do know, what they did to make this an easier, softer landing and to deal with the loss of their routines. And they said one big thing is they got back into more of their spiritual life. My Christian friends got back into the Bible, and they did it with a real earnestness, like they needed it. It wasn't just something they did as part of their rituals, and it was something they really needed to do to stay peaceful and sane during the shutdown. And they also said they ended up praying a lot more, and not just dinner time, bless this turkey kind of prayers, but really authentic, serious, in the street praying. And I did the same. Actually, one big change in the prayer thing, by the way, I started praying more for my government leaders, especially my state leaders, but also national. Usually, like a lot of us, I just get angry and bitter and annoyed with my leaders, the ones that aren't doing what I wish they would do. And regarding this whole economic lockdown, there was some serious times of resentment and confusion regarding their decisions and their timing. Was it all politics? Are we playing games? All that. You got some of that started happening in my head, at least, and still does about a few weeks into the whole thing. I had to learn put all that aside and pray for those leaders to get good thoughts and to have good judgment and wisdom in leading their people, we the people. It felt like the common man kind of got tossed aside for a while, other than getting those wonderful stimulus checks, although I found out a lot of small businesses did not get anything, and they're still struggling to come back. I learned to pray for those leaders, and that they would have wisdom to lead well instead of just ranting and raving and whining. That helped me get through this a lot better too, and it continues to do so. Another thing was people are saying they pour themselves into hobbies and into creative pursuits such as writing, painting, building things, remodeling, doing volunteer work. I know a woman back on the East Coast that ended up going out and picking up lots of garbage with an organization. And also she and her husband would deliver birthday gifts to little kids who couldn't have birthday parties because of the social distancing guidelines. And so that helped them cope. And that's the point of that. And these kind of crises, of course, will come again. It may not be a medical thing, or it may be, but other economic crises are going to come. Natural disasters, with tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, droughts. Many things will keep coming our way. That's just life, and it may be accelerating for some reason. So why don't we get more prepared to go, it's okay. I feel a sense of loss. My life's not what I thought it was going to be. And to grieve that properly. So just a few thoughts. Hope that helps. Leave your comments or questions anytime. Thanks, and see you the next time.